Today, I want to show you one of the simplest ways to cook and clean your fish by pan searing it and then finishing it in the oven. The whole thing takes less than 20 minutes and you have incredibly tasty fish. Now, for the purpose of demonstration, we have some farm sea bream, but I highly recommend that you always try to get wild fish. They just taste infinitely better. So the first thing you want to do is to inspect your fish for scale by going quite firmly with the back of a knife. So as you can see a tiny bit here. Fish skin is way more resilient than you think, so don't be scared to go hard. Same with the other side. Brilliant. The second thing you want to do is to grab a paper towel and really clean the inside of the fish. Without this step, you sometimes end up with very bitter fish belly, which for me is one of the tastiest part of the fish. So make sure everything is clean. Now, we season with salt, about 0.6% to the weight of the fish, inside out. An optional step, we stuff the cavity with a bit of herb. In this case, we have thyme and a wedge of lemon. This will also support the structure of the fish when it cooks in the oven. Now, some people like to add garlic, but that's more for show because garlic doesn't really cook until it hits 85 degrees Celsius. And if you have a piece of fish that hits 85, I suggest you eat something else. Stove on, medium-high heat. And you want your oven to be preheated to 180 degrees Celsius. Once the pan is hot, an extremely generous amount of neutral high smoke point oil. Don't use extra virgin olive oil. Even though it has a very high smoke point, it'll taste bitter because of the heat. And the reason why we want a generous amount of oil is because of the uneven shape of the fish. You want the oil to help you distribute the heat evenly. I said generous and then sorry, this is more generous. So, once the oil is slightly shimmering, fish goes in. And you want to press it down slightly because the skin's gonna curl up and the bottom would not have even contact. So for the initial stage of cooking, you want to press it down. Maybe not with your bare hands, but with fish spatula. Mine's in the dishwasher. And you want to give it a bit of time for the Maillard reaction. Protein, high heat, good browning. What's gonna make the fish taste meaty. While that's going on, we play chef and we baste the other side with hot oil to help it get started. Perfect. Now, once the whole thing is beautifully coated with oil, this whole thing goes into the oven, middle to top shelf. It will be extremely irresponsible for me to tell you a cooking time because different ovens, different sizes of fish. Your best friend to cooking good fish or good cooking in general is to have a meat probe. You want the thickest part of the fish to be around 55 degrees Celsius and the carryover cooking will bring it to around 61. And that's a sweet spot for most fish. 55 to 61. Anything above that, they start to become flaky and chewy. This will go into the oven. Check on our beautiful fish. After 10 minutes, find the thickest part of the flesh. You go in. Perfect. So, this is 58 right now. And I know the carryover cooking would bring it even above 61. So you see, even for the purpose of demonstration, I managed to overcook the fish with my own recipe. That's how important it is to probe. We give it a bit of time to rest and I'll show you how to clean a whole fish. So, very simple. First of all, you have to decide whether you want skin on or skin off. Of course, if you want skin on, keep it as is. If you want the skin off, what you want to do is you want to run the fork down the spine and you let the fork go through gently all the way to the head. And you do the same on the other side. Now you put the fork through and you just start rolling like you would spaghetti. Perfect. Of course, clean whatever you left behind. Now, 70% of this is extremely easy. You simply push them to the sides. The tasty 30% is the belly. I get extremely worked up when restaurants, because they're in a hurry, they secretly throw the belly away. That should never happen. So first, the easy bit, you run your knife down the middle of the spine, and you can identify the middle quite easily by this point. Once you're down, for the back, you simply push, the whole thing comes off beautifully, like that. Carefully take the flesh and we move it onto the serving plate. Now, for the 30%, you push towards the other side, and this time, turn it around, and you can see the belly bones. And the easiest way to get rid of them is just with your fork. You run it up, and it goes. And you always take it from the top to minimize how much flesh you would take with you. There's a restaurant in Malta called Tartaroon. They could do this in the matter of seconds. If you're ever in Malta, pay them a visit. Now, as you can see, the belly is clean just now. And this whole thing goes to the serving plate. We flip it. That's one side of the flesh done. Now, my other favorite part, the cheek. You simply push it out. That's the most tender part of the whole fish. Now, the fun side. We simply cut the tail with your knife. We break it. Once the tail is broken, what you need to do is you need to slowly with your knife guide the fins away, because they are what's preventing you from taking the flesh. So you simply run your knife. I'm pushing most of the time and rarely cutting, because as long as you follow the fibers, there ought to be very little resistance. As you can see, the top fin bones, they're all out like that. Same with the other side. You let the fibers guide you and you just push. Now you lift the bone with your fork and you help guide the flesh away from the bone with your knife. Once you get to the head, you break the neck and you turn. Now, for this side, we're already in position to remove the belly bones. So once again, you use the fork to find the top of the bone and we just remove them. Once you're certain there's not much left, same shebang, knife down the middle and you push. Once this is out, take the flesh with us. Same goes the belly side. Simply use your knife to guide the flesh away from the skin, the flesh from the collarbone. And of course, once again, you find the cheek. And this is the kind of yield you should have with one whole fish. Like my friend Chris used to say, the waiters always remove what my mother likes to eat the most. So if you've never tried these bits, give them a try. If you have guests over, serve them this. Bit of herb for garnish, because we can. A drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, bit of lemon, bit of salt, nothing else. This is cooked and cleaned sea bream. I really hope you enjoy.